Hello, hello, Chef Anna is here. Today we're making Ukrainian borscht and pampushki. Pampushki is a wonderful Ukrainian bread which is fluffy and garlicky and herbaceous, and it goes lovely with borscht. If you did your homework, you should have the same amount of dough already proofed, and we can start shaping our pampushki. What I will do now is I will just put my dough in here, form 16 equal balls. If you feel comfortable eyeballing, please do so. If you want to use scales, this is the time. So I will just divide my dough into 2 portions, and I will try to eyeball and make 16 equal balls. If they are slightly uneven, it's totally fine, will be good. Spray our baking dish with some cooking spray. So we have 6 here and 7 here. Let's make it 12 then. You can make like larger pampushki or smaller pampushki, it doesn't matter. We are forming the dough by like shaping roughly like this, and then placing our hands on top and just rolling. And make sure you leave some space in between pampushki, because they will double or maybe even triple in size. Just keep rolling, keep rolling. Don't squeeze your hands, just like very gently. We have this wonderful balls of dough. Once we're done, we need to make sure to let this dough proof slightly one more time. Most of the time we eat this bread only with borscht, but we eat borscht very often, so pampushki I make all the time. We can cover the whole thing and let it rise for 20 to 25 more minutes. Also make sure you're preheating your oven to 350 Fahrenheit. So when the pampushki are plump, we'll just brush them with the egg wash and start baking. Let's start our borscht. Today we're making vegetarian borscht, and I think you will like this recipe. It's very comforting, it's rich, it's just wonderful, very cozy soup. We'll start by slicing some vegetables and preheating our pot. So I'm using this medium pot, and I will cook everything here from start to finish. So let's preheat good amount of oil, and I will start slicing the onion. How I slice the onion is I do it like this, so it will be finely diced, and use a good sharp knife. That's a key here. And you don't have to do it like super fine, but just nice even dice. I added oil, but I will also add butter, and I like to mix those two because butter adds creaminess and richness, and oil will make sure that the butter will not burn. If you want to keep this borscht vegan, don't add butter, just use the oil. And I will add my onions here. Next thing I will do is I will grate the carrot. I'm using just this large holes on my box grater. You can roughly chop it, but I like it grated. I will turn my heat slightly up so it's medium to medium low. We don't want anything brown, we just want the onion soft and translucent. You can use actually many different vegetables like celery root and parsnip. They will add a ton of flavor for this one. We'll add our carrot here. It's already starts smelling very, very good. The next step is to slice a little bit of tomatoes, and we'll just cube them. And if you don't have fresh tomatoes, you can totally use canned tomatoes. They actually might be even better because they have deeper flavor and more color. The quality of produce here is amazing. We mostly shop at the farmer's market, and if you ordered a truffle shuffle kit, you will be surprised how amazing the produce is. Oh, and one more tip, you can add a little bit of salt to your onions when you cook, and it will help them to become softer fast. You add your tomatoes only when the onion is soft, because the acid from tomatoes will prevent them from getting softer. We'll wait maybe a couple more minutes, and then we'll add everything here. And while we have this time, we'll make our egg wash for pampushki, and I'll just break an egg here. I have this pastry brush, so I'll just mix everything together until I have this wonderful silky egg wash, and I will brush my pampushki on top, so they will be very glossy and they will have more color once they're baked. Okay, I think my onions and carrot is very soft, so I will add tomatoes. Cook for 5 to 7 minutes just to get the tomatoes soft. In Ukraine we call this mixture zažarka, which actually hard to translate, but it's basically a base for our borscht. It's just like this wonderful, flavorful base for soup. While this is cooking, I will peel a potato and slice the rest of the vegetables. Do it like this. So fast, love it. So the beauty of this class is in the end you will have both bread and borscht. So you can serve everything right away, everything is fresh and beautiful. As you can tell, they're already slightly more fluffy, and I will brush them with the egg wash. And after brushing, don't put them into the oven right away. Just let the egg wash dry a little bit and it will produce a better crust. Right guys, so I will let this sit for 3 minutes. Now I feel like I want to have another bowl to put all of my veggies there, and then I can just send them straight to the pot. With borscht it's hard to guess how much water you need, so my rule of thumb is to use about 10 cups of water. This beet is beautiful, it's round and large, so we'll do it fast. And I don't like this just because it just stains everything, so be careful. Beet is probably the most important ingredient in this recipe because it will add the most color to the borscht and of course a lot of flavor. Okay guys, it's about time to put our pampushki in the oven, and I set my timer to 35 minutes, but it can take less time or more time, depends on your oven. We'll keep watching those, and I will make sure that halfway through I will turn my pan 180 degrees so everything will cook evenly. Okay, the beets are peeled, and I will slice my pepper, quarter the pepper, and slice it like this. And I will start putting my veggies here. I also will add some mushrooms, and these are dried mushrooms, so make sure you pre-soak the mushrooms in freshly boiled water for 30 minutes before cooking borscht, so they will become very soft and they will infuse the water with this wonderful mushroom flavor, and we will use this water to just flavor our borscht. Since beets take the longest to cook, I will start slicing them and putting in my borscht while I slice the rest of the veggies. The way I want them sliced is like this thick pieces, and then we'll cut everything in half and just slice them into matchsticks. And I will do the same with this one. So like this. What I will do is I will slice everything like this. So this aim to make pieces this big, and see, my hand is already hot pink. And if you can have a sous chef in your kitchen that will help you slice and peel the vegetables, use that help. The beets are in the pot. We can start dicing our potato, and I will just do it like this. Not large pieces, just about this big. Once the soup comes to a boil, I will just add everything in. After the potato, I will add mushrooms and prunes, bay leaf, let everything simmer. The last things that are going to our borscht will be cabbage and beans. And the last step is to roughly chop our mushrooms, and you see they're very hydrated and absorb a lot of liquid, so I'm just squeezing the liquid out, and I will put this liquid into the borscht because it's very flavorful and we don't want to waste that. Large chunks of mushrooms. Okay, adding them here, and the rest of the veggies. Okay. Let's give it a good stir. Bay leaf. This is the very common herb we use to flavor our soups and stews, and since it's not dried but fresh bay leaf, it has a very delicate flavor, and I can add it right now, so it will just boil there and just give more flavor to borscht. I also use prunes, and you don't have to use them if you don't want to, but I feel like they add this nice sweetness to borscht, not too much, just like very subtle, barely noticeable, but it's lovely. The last thing we need to slice today is our cabbage, and cabbage cooks very, very fast, so it will go in the pot like almost last minute. So just like that, nice thin cut. This is done, and I feel it's time to check on my pampushki. I will give them a quick spin. I will increase my heat a little bit, and to bring this to a boil faster, you can cover the pot with the lid. And what I will do, I will just add a little bit of salt just to flavor the broth. So what we need to do is to bring everything to a boil, and then lower the heat down to a nice slow simmering, and after 10 minutes of simmering, we can add the rest of the stuff. So while we have this time, I'll rearrange my space, put this cabbage into a bowl, and prepare the finishing touch for our pampushki, which is a little bit of oil. I use sunflower oil as always, some garlic, chopped herbs, and it will go on top of our pampushki while they're still hot. We'll use a couple of cloves for our pampushki bread and 1 to 2 cloves for our borscht. And it's up for you to decide how much garlic you want to put in your borscht. I feel like it's such a traditional flavor combination for Ukraine that I love it. I will put 2, but I would like to put 4. Yes, we have our garlic peeled. And how I usually do this is I will just put my knife with the flat side and smash the garlic, and then I will just chop it like that. Okay, my borscht is bubbling. I can already tell by this all steam that coming from the pot. So I will check on it. Yes, we'll turn it down and add prunes. I'll cover it this much and I'll keep it simmering for 10 minutes. I'm slicing off this part because we don't need the stems. And these are the herbs that will go both into our borscht when it's done and into our pampushki topping. So I'll finally chop everything and then divide it. And in Ukraine, we don't use a lot of spices, so we flavor everything mostly with fresh herbs, black pepper and garlic. Wonderful. So I will use about half of this for the topping, and the rest will go on top of my borscht when it's ready. I'm pretty much done with all the slicing and chopping. The last thing I want to do is to add a decent amount of sunflower oil here, like that, and a good pinch of salt. I'll mix everything, and this is our topping for pampushki. Pierce the potato. If it's soft, you can add the rest of the ingredients. Awesome. Goes here. And all of the beans. And the beans will provide the protein we need and will add the richness. So guys, see, this is wonderful. So now it's 10 to 15 more minutes and we are all done. And we have about the same time with pampushki, so everything will be ready at the same time. So guys, the borscht is almost ready. So the last thing is the garlic. We'll give it a good stir and when we can take it off the heat. And now back to pampushki. They already look lovely, but wait for it. The best part is while they're super hot, just to do, and you hear, can you hear it? Oh, the best sound on earth. They will just sizzle and just so beautiful. Pampushki are ready and I hope you can hear this sound. The oil is sizzling, the herbs are like dispersing the aroma. It is wonderful, and I will let those pampushki cool for a little bit in this dish, but then we need to take them out so the bottom will not be soggy and will stay crispy. So wait for like 5-10 minutes and then put it on a cooling rack. So we can serve our borscht and just look at this beautiful color. It's so lovely. And I swear to you, the next day it will be even better. It's just one of those dishes that get better with time. And usually I serve my sour cream on the side just to make sure that people can put as much or as little as they want. But this is my favorite thing. If you want to keep it vegan, please choose vegan sour cream because I feel like sour cream is a must for this dish. So either dairy or vegan sour cream. So enjoy. I hope to see you at my next class. Please join me and learn some more Ukrainian and Eastern European dishes. Bye.